Hello everybody, Iain Robson here, and welcome back to Oklahoma. Today we're on the Patreon server, and I just want to say thanks again to all my patrons. You guys are awesome. Thanks again, guys. Anyways, let's go ahead and start doing what we're going to do today. I got some lime here, and we're going to go ahead and spread this, and I got Bob behind me. He's got the, what does he have? The 70, 80? He's got the 7930. He's just waiting for me to move now. And he's going to come out, and he's going to come back and cultivate the lime in. So because we're on soil mod, we have to spread lime and cultivate it in. So he's going to come back around and cultivate the lime in. As you can see, there's the texture right there. It's kind of hard to see, actually. Oh, there it is. So we're going to cultivate the lime in, because as you can see, if you look in the bottom right-hand corner, we have a low soil pH. And, yeah, just give me a pass. How about we just say this? Go ahead. Go ahead. And because we have a low pH right now, our soil's acidic, which means that we're not going to get very much crop if we don't continue cultivating, or continue keeping the pH at a nice level. Yes, 10 to Iain. I will try to stay ahead of him. So the way it works is you have to have a pH of like 6, around 6 is where you want to have. Right now it's going below 6, and it actually drops off really quickly. Like if you have a low pH and your soil is like acidic, what will happen is you will have massive harvest problems. So that's what we run into if you're not careful. And that's why we're just keeping ahead of the curve, so to speak, by spreading a little bit of lime here. Alright, come to the end. Very good. Make this pass. Also, as a side note, it is crazy warm today. The humidity are just making it not unbearable. It's warm, but it's not unbearable. It's pretty warm, actually. I think it's, for all you Americans, it's about 90, 93, 94, something like that. Somewhere in that area. Feels like, feels probably closer to 95. Maybe 95 plus, something in that area. So it's pretty warm today. So if I start talking kind of funny, it's because of the heat. Usually I record in the morning, but didn't get a chance to record on the server on the weekend. So that's the reason why I am recording this evening as opposed to this morning. There's Bob over there doing a good job. That's the Kuhn Kraus from LBJ Modding. So if I go over here and I look at the soil, so you can see we're at 5.8 right here, and if I go over here, you'll see it at 6.4 and 6.7 right there, and that's neutral. And that's what we want to see, because the yield will be on par. It'll be on par. It'll be a better yield if we keep it at neutral. So that's the reason why I'm going ahead and spreading some lime right here. Just because every single time, lime seems to be the one thing we all forget for whatever reason on the server. It was the same thing on Tungstorf. Whenever we would get to a point where we needed to spread lime, one of us would always forget. So that's the reason why we're doing it here today. And that's why I was like, oh look, good. I have the perfect opportunity to spread some lime, because I'm sure one of us would have forgotten. I don't know. Spud's pretty good, actually. He's awesome on the server. He's on quite frequently, which makes it pretty sweet, because then if for whatever reason, if I'm not able to hop on the server and make any adjustments, you can make the adjustments, which is really nice, actually. So call him a farm manager, I guess, or something like that. I don't know. He basically just runs the farm when I'm not around. For all intents and purposes, basically. He does a fantastic job. So thanks again, Spud. Anyhow, we're gonna go ahead. We should be able to. The problem we might run into is staying ahead of or behind, I should say, the combine in this context. And Spud may have a hard time staying ahead of us. It looks like Bob's doing alright. He's taking his time. I don't know how fast he's going. He's idle at the moment, so I don't know if his connection dropped or something, but we're going to find out here in a second. I'm moving at a pretty good clip. I'm doing about 20 clicks an hour. I don't know what that is in American miles per hour. Something like 15 maybe. 12, 13, I don't know. I always have to think about those things. because I live in Canada, everything's in kilometers. Actually, I was talking to somebody from Italy today, and the funny thing was, in Italy, apparently they measure your height on your driver's license in centimeters. We do the same thing here in Ontario, but the funny thing is most people don't know their height in centimeters unless it's on their driver's license. So, for example, if you ask somebody how tall they are, in most places in Canada, they'll say, you know, 5'8", 5'9", whatever it happens to be. And, but some people in Europe, I guess, know in centimeters. Like, how tall are you? I'm like, oh, I'm 173 centimeters, but that's not common, so. There we go. Perfect. It's funny, we had a heck of a downpour this morning. It was like 6 a.m. and just the clouds just opened up, and it was just crazy the amount of water that dropped this morning. It was like, looked like a typhoon for a short while. It was pretty ridiculous, actually. Oh, it looks pretty cool, actually. Let's see if I can. I'd have to enable it, but it just dropped like a rocket. It was crazy. Like, I couldn't believe how much water dropped in the space of, like, I think it was like less than an hour. It was just one of those times where you're just like, holy smokes. There's Donald. Better wake him up here. I think he's on the phone. It's funny. There is a skit by a group called The Whitest Kids You Know, and it's when a kid goes. There's one of them where they're like playing a Call of Duty or something like that, and the kid goes AFK and is talking to his mom, and is like moving around talking to his mom. That's what I'm reminded of right now. I think Don's doing some business though. That's what it is. So got a pretty good canola harvest here today. I think we already got. I want to say it was already one load was taken to the silos already, which is pretty good actually. So we're doing a pretty good job, all of us all together doing a pretty good job maintaining the fields so far, which is good. Soil mod does make it a little bit more interesting, but that's part of the fun. I don't know why that little spot right there didn't mature, because it's strange. That shouldn't happen, because with a soil mod, what should happen is at the end, yeah. What should happen is everything should cycle over to the next cycle automatically without having parts that are like not maturing at the same point, basically. So that's what's a bit confusing about that. Maybe it was just planted after by accident, which is definitely possible. I've done that before. So that could be the reason why it is just that one little spot there. Actually, if you look at the top of the field there, when we get back there, I'll show you. I don't know, I think it was one of us was like planting or something like that. I want to say somebody was using GPS, because it went like right past the outline of the field and turned around. It was pretty funny. You can actually see it. I noticed it like a while ago, and I was like, what's going on there? I'm like, well, how did that happen? Apparently it was because one of us went AFK and decided to just use the GPS and just go AFK. I've done that many times. Usually I end up in a fence though, is what my problem usually ends up being. Wonder, no, Donald's still sitting there. Maybe this will wake him up. Nope. Sorry, Donald. Sorry. It's funny because I hopped in the server and I think Donald said hello, and then like he got a phone call, and then he went AFK for the phone call. What I'm gonna do is gonna grab the semi truck over there and just unload Spud, so he doesn't have to worry about that. I think I'm ahead of Bob anyways at this point in time, so we're just gonna leave this guy here. Just gonna hop into the truck real quick. Give Spud a hand out here. There's that second, the second camera. I don't know why. I don't like when you're driving the truck and you're backing up the truck trying to hook up to a trailer. The second camera is really helpful, but when you're not doing that, it's not. I don't find it super helpful. Oops. What am I doing? It's just one of those things. Alright, make the turn. Give Spud a hand here. There we go. So, it'll make his life just a wee bit easier. That's one thing. You can harvest by yourself, but unloading and harvesting at the same time, if you don't hire a worker, of course. That's the one downfall of that. But I'm still ahead of Bob, pretty far ahead of him, because he's using a cultivator. So it does make a big difference, the fact that I when we can like Spud saying, glance does make a big difference. So if you're wondering what glance is that thing in the top left-hand corner. That's what it's called, glance. There's another kind of similar product called Inspector Mod, but I find it a little bit invasive on my screen. So it's one of the reasons why I tend to stick to glance. Unintentionally, glance made its way into my single-player series as well. I think just I happen to like not copy it, take the file out, and now I have glance in my single-player as well. Here we go. Just gonna go to the edge of the field here, and I'll show you that little part I was talking about before. So here's the canola that didn't quite grow, or was planted late, whichever the cause. I'm not sure. And I'm just gonna make a turn up here. Do it like so. Looks like we got some barley that needs to be harvested as well. Or is that oats? Looks like might even be rye. I think it might be rye actually. What do we got? Corn? Yeah, it is rye. Let's take a quick look at that. Not too bad. Looks a bit like barley. I think it is this tractor. Perfect. So we're still ahead of Bob, so we're good. It's interesting. I think last year was the very first year I had actually seen like somebody have lime on their farm. It was really strange. It was like a huge, I think it was a pile, or it was like in a bunker or something. Really strange because I'd never seen it before. But it was one of the odd things to see, just because it's something I've never seen before. I don't know if it's like only big farms or small farms that use lime, but I think most farms will need lime at some point, or some form of pH control, whatever that may be. And yeah, I don't know. It was really strange to see. It actually is a really neat mod. It looks like it's a manure spreader, but it spreads lime. Farmer Beavis took a look at it a while ago. But the spread that comes out of the back of the thing is really neat. I think it only works with the GMK, which is a Ghoul Mist and Calc mod, which is like, you know, what would that be? Slurry, lime, and fertilizer, I think it is. Ghoul Mist, slurry. So fertilizer, lime, and slurry, I guess. Anyways, but it makes the texture look really neat. So Soil Mod does have that sort of same idea of a texture. So as you can see, if you look down, you can see the texture right there. And depending on what you're spreading, you can actually tell the difference, because each has like a slightly different look to it. Like the lime is like white in this context. The NPK, I think, is blue, if memory serves. And I think one of the other ones is red. I think that's just K. I can't remember. I rarely spread just the one variety. But they all have their own textures and whatnot, which is nice, actually. So here, I'll just show you what the textures looks like, just so you get an idea of what I'm talking about. So here's it. So here's a really prime example. So on the right, you can see that lime has been spread, and on the left, no lime. And here's what canola looks like. If you ever see canola like this in real life, it's actually it's quite beautiful in the field, if you've ever seen it. Depending where you are, if you're in Ontario, I don't know about other places, but Ontario, if we have a warm enough summer, you can see canola ripen pretty quickly, actually. I want to say September, maybe late August, or maybe even earlier than that. I don't know. Maybe not earlier than that. But it's pretty cool to see. If you see it when it's in that flowering stage there, it's crazy to see. It's like a field of yellow, and you're like, what on earth is that? And if you don't know what it is, you're just like, why did they plant all flowers? That's what you ask yourself, kind of thing. Same thing goes for sunflowers. If you see like a farmer who planted sunflowers, you're asking yourself, like, what's with all the sunflowers? But you can always make sunflower oil. I think I get the feeling like sunflowers is really rough on a combine, though, just because the amount of material you put through the combine. It seems like it's crazy, because you think about the stalk and everything. Like, you don't put the whole thing obviously through the combine, but a good chunk of it you do. And corn's the same way, right? So both of those crops can be pretty rough on your machinery, I think, at least. I don't know if you compare that to other types of crops though, so I'm going to finish this pass off and then grab the semi once again. Spud if you can hear me, which I know you can't. I'm just going to swing around with the semi. Also, it gives me a chance so I don't get ahead of Spud. There we go. Grab this guy again. I suppose we should be using the overloader, but I don't know why we aren't. Probably because there's only before I hopped on, there was only like, I think it was only Spud and Donald. So having an overloader is kind of like maybe overkill, perhaps, for Canola specifically as well. So I think that's part of the reason why. But using the semi works as well too. You see it sometimes, depending where you are. You'll see a semi in the field unloading a combine, but I don't think it's super common, because you would probably tear up the field pretty bad. There we go. Let's spud at 86%. Oh, that's pretty good timing then. Excellent. I don't know how much canola we have, but canola is actually on when you have multi-fruit maps. A lot of the time you'll have soybeans, oats, and rye are worth quite. Well, rye's not usually worth a lot, but soybeans tends to be, and oats can be on some maps. Not every map though. Just depends on the map. I think on this map, soybeans is fairly high, like a 1100 a ton or something like that. Oats might be fairly high, and I think there's maybe one other one. But I know Donald planted sorghum on field 23, which is cool because we don't normally have sorghum laying about. So it'll be nice to harvest some sorghum. I think you can chaff that technically as well. You do in real life. You make feed for your cows essentially with it. You would chaff it the same as corn. And the interesting part about sorghum, as far as I can remember, it can grow a couple of times, so you can actually harvest it like once or twice in a year. As far as I can remember, at least. I may be mistaken. I'm not an expert, but I seem to recall sorghum can do that. You're able to do that with sorghum, which is kind of neat. So, yeah. It's kind of a weird plant too. I don't see much of it grown in Ontario. Do you have sorghum in your area? Let me know in the comments below. I'm curious now. I think in some areas it is, some areas it isn't, perhaps depending on the climate, weather, etc., etc. So, I think it just depends. I wonder how our cows are doing. I wonder if they ever got TMR. I want to say they did. Oh yes, they do. Good. 25 cows. We should probably buy some more cows. I know I picked up some cows a while back. Or maybe Spud picked up some cows a while back, but we have not bought more yet. Soon. I think the next big purchase, I think we actually have 2 combines, so we may upgrade one of our combines to one of the Joe Lindbergh combines. Just depends on money. Well, we could buy it right now, I suppose, but I don't know how necessary it is. Apparently, actually, one of the nice pros about Joe Lindbergh's, Lindbergh J modding, whatever you want to call it, about his combines is that they have a large capacity, as far as I understand, which is really good. Because with that larger capacity, you can just you can harvest just a bit longer. That can make a big difference sometimes. There we go. Nice. I don't know. We may be able to do one more pass here. I don't know yet. Just barely. There we go. Oh yeah, just barely. I think I didn't think I was going to catch up this fast, but apparently I have. Yeah, it'll be all right. I don't think lime goes away when it gets harvested. We're gonna find out in a quick second here. Let's take a top-down view. Let's see what happens. Nope, it's okay. I was a little concerned because sometimes what happens is if I were to spread fertilizer down like on a regular game without soil mob, what would happen is as soon as the combine went over the fertilizer, just take it away and use it up, sort of thing. So, and I don't know how the other fields are doing. Let's take a quick little peek. Not in a rush, anyways, because don't want to get ahead. I think the other fields are doing all right. Yeah, so we got 3 is almost done. 2, which is the other one across the way, is done. And I thought 23 was already planted in sorghum. Maybe it has already been harvested. That was the other day, though, so that's entirely possible. I do like this little tractor. This is what, a 7530, I think it is? Yeah, the 7530 is a nice little tractor, actually. Good little chain on the front there. Looks pretty neat. I think it even has some IC. Yeah, there you go. I don't know what it all does. Let's find out. Break down front loader. Activate green star. Right door. Grow. I'm not sure what that's supposed to be. And that's just the activate terminus. Huh, that's kind of neat. The lights there. That is grow Warren's child? What on earth? What is grow Warren's child? Oh, it's the warning signs. Can you see that? So I guess you can do the same thing on their side. Huh, that's neat. I don't think this is I don't think having those is mandatory in Canada or Ontario. Oh, of course. For beef. I don't know if we even have any beef. We might actually have. We have 4 we could sell. Apparently we haven't worked on the other animals other than the dairy cows, which is fine. Yeah, so in Ontario, this doesn't have it. You have to have a slow moving sign on your tractor if you're going on the road. So like up the back of this, you'd have to have a slow moving sign. So, no, not quite those, but I guess that's a slow moving sign in other countries, but on the back of this, you'd have to have a slow moving sign. Because you can get in trouble if you don't. Alright, let's hop back into that semi here. Unload Spud once again there. Make sure he keeps rolling. Because I want to make sure we get this harvest in. It's 7 a.m. in the morning. I don't think you'd ever... you wouldn't harvest canola, I don't think, this early in the morning. Maybe out western Canada, but I don't think in the morning in Ontario. You'd have too much dew. Whoa! Head-on collision there, Spud. Sheesh. Too much dew. And for canola, I don't know. I think you would definitely need some more. You wouldn't want that much dew on the actual plant itself because there'd be too high moisture. And I'm not sure how finicky they are with canola. If memory serves, they're really finicky when it comes to canola. Let's move forward a little bit here. A little bit more. There we go. They're pretty finicky. I think the only place that I know of off the top of my head that takes canola, like a grain elevator, is in Hamilton, Ontario, as far as I know. Because I know a lot of people in my hometown, they'll ship to Hamilton because that's one of the few places that will actually process canola, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. So, anyhow. Alright folks, I guess that'll be it for me for today. I'll get this finished up with Spud and Bob here. Hopefully Donald comes back and get this field prim and proper, so to speak, and we'll go from there. Anyways folks, my name's Iain Robson. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Oklahoma, doing a little bit of lime spreading, a little bit of unloading of the combine, a couple other random tasks. And if you did, why don't you go ahead and hit that subscribe button for some more Oklahoma on the multiplayer server. Catch you guys later.